Welcome to another FPL video today. This is going to be my team selection, and you can hear maybe a lot of background noise, and that's because I'm on holiday. I will be back in a few weeks, and there will be usual content. I've still been putting out quite, consistently. That was stuff that was pre-recorded, so there might be a bit of out-of-date information. There's so many games, even the Community Shield that happened the other day, and I'm going to also be talking about that in this video. Let's try to get it to 200 likes, and if it is possible, I will be doing a deadline stream on Friday, but I have to find a way because this internet connection is quite unstable. But if I can find a solution to that problem, then I will be streaming on Friday, and I can also get some more content out ahead of Game Week 2. But enough of all that, let's just jump straight into this. And at the very end, I'm going to be showing you some alternative picks and what I could change my team to. In goal, we have Aaron Ramsdale, and in the previous drafts, I actually went with Alisson, but he had a bit of an injury problem, and that's why he didn't feature in Liverpool's 3-1 win over Manchester City in the Community Shield final. But Jurgen Klopp said specifically that he should be fine for the game against Fulham, and you would believe that he's going to start. But then you also take a precious Liverpool spot by having Alisson. And I'll be honest, I'm still considering the Brazilian goalkeeper. The same goes for Ederson and a few others around 5 million. And even those 4.5 million goalkeepers like Raya, Brentford have improved a bit recently in pre-season. You've also got Robert Sanchez, but I really like Ramsdale's fixtures. If you look at the first 8 game weeks, Arsenal faced 2 newly promoted sides. And during pre-season, Ramsdale and Arsenal have kept 3 clean sheets, and they've looked so good. In the last 2 games, they put 10 past Chelsea and Sevilla, and they haven't conceded a single goal. There are only 2 difficult fixtures in terms of a defensive point of view. Leicester and Man United, they're the only teams that are ranked more than 2 on the official FPL website and their FDR, the fixture difficulty rating. So I really like what Arsenal are doing at the moment in pre-season. They're making some early signings, and there's a real good buzz around the place. And I think one defensive asset is fine, whether you go for Ben White, even Tomiyasu when he's fully fit. I don't think he's going to start in Game Week 1 though, and that's why I don't have him in my current draft. You've also got Saliba, who should be able to start at least from the beginning, and you've also got Zinchenko at 5 million, but I still think Ramsdale is the best defensive asset. He can get plenty of clean sheets, save points and bonus points. Arsenal ended the season very poorly, especially from a defensive point of view at the end of last season, but they are looking much better right now, and I think Ramsdale's one of the very best picks, and I'd actually prefer him over Edouard Mendy to start the season. 2 players have stayed the same at the back line, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Joao Cancelo, but we have made a few alterations here. So in terms of Trent Alexander-Arnold, we'll start from left to right. He scored once again in the Community Shield final, a really well-taken goal that deflected slightly off Ake, but I have to say Trent has been so impressive in pre-season. He's taking up some very advanced positions, and he's basically playing as a midfielder and as a right winger, as he tends to do. He's just playing so high up, even against top-quality sides such as Manchester City, and Liverpool are looking very good to start the season, and that's why I've gone for a double up here defensively, whether I go with Alisson and Trent or go for Trent and Robertson. Let's wait and see, because on Friday, that's when I'm looking to finalise my team if possible. But I just really like this attacking duo. And Robertson got an assist for Darwin Núñez's first goal for Liverpool, the first official goal anyway. And I just really like that double up. It looks fantastic. And I still have Joao Cancelo. So those 3 take a really significant portion of my defensive budget, but I still have enough to go for Matty Cash there. And if we look at Cash specifically, Aston Villa are joint second in the fixture ticker on Fantasy Football Hub for the first 3 game weeks, which is just really impressive. And I would still be a bit cautious if you're looking to double or triple up on Aston Villa, which I may do. Just a bit of a spoiler alert there. And you can afford to go a bit short term in terms of your thinking when you're making this Game Week 1 team, because we technically have 2 wildcards before the World Cup, and you can maybe play your first one around Game Week 8 or even before that. So we can afford to make these kind of short-term moves, I think, more so than in previous seasons. As for Joao Cancelo, I don't think he's looked that great during pre-season, but I still think he's a great option. And Manchester City still have a great defence, despite some kind of turbulence at the back. You've got the likes of Laporte, who is still injured, and City did look a bit shaky against Liverpool. Yes, they created a lot of chances, but at the back, they look very vulnerable, and top teams like Liverpool can definitely get at them. Even those kind of weaker sides, so to speak, can get the odd goal here and there. But City still have the best fixtures for the first 10 game weeks, and I would still have one Manchester City player at least, and I think Joao Cancelo is the best that they have to offer. The midfield has also largely stayed the same. Mohamed Salah has been in every single one of my drafts pretty much, except I think a provisional one that I was kind of playing around with in FPL.team before the prices were released. But Salah has looked so good in pre-season. He's got 3 goals and 1 assist in 5 matches, including a goal and an assist against Manchester City. And he was probably the man of the match, to be honest. He was so good in that game. He was the big difference maker there. And Liverpool also ranked first in the Fantasy Football Hub fixture ticker from game weeks 1 to 6. So there's a lot to like with Salah. And I would go for one of him or Heung-min Son. And I said this a lot during the Rating Your Teams videos. The two of them, if you want, check them out. They're both on the channel right now. And James Maddison isn't the really most popular pick, but I don't really care, to be honest. He's still a fantastic one in my opinion. He actually got an assist yesterday at the time of this recording, and he's looking good in preseason. Not amazing, but 1 goal and 2 assists in 4 games is decent. And you've also got Dewsbury Hall there. Leicester have a good midfield, even if they lose Yuri Tielemans. And while Leicester may not have the best fixtures in the medium to long term, if you look at the first 3 game weeks, they actually rank top of, once again, the Fantasy Football Hub fixture ticker. So he's another one that could be a kind of short-term kind of purchase there. Same with Matty Cash in this team. You don't want too many of these short-term kind of picks, but having 1 or 2 I think is fine. They're also quite differential, especially James Maddison. And I think that's a really good way of differentiating yourself from the rest of the pack. Now, Mason Mount is another 8 million midfielder that's looked exceptionally good in pre-season, at least getting those goals and assists, which is the most important from a fantasy asset. And the other one is Bukayo Saka. If I had to make a kind of top 3 based on pre-season and what we've seen from the last campaign, I think Maddison, Saka, and also Mason Mount would be in my top 3 8 million midfielders, even over Jarrod Bowen, Riyad Mahrez, Luis Diaz, who's very popular. I would rather go for Alisson or Robertson instead of having Diaz as your third Liverpool pick. Let me know if you disagree or not. I encourage all criticism or maybe even agreement, whatever it may be. I encourage you to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And the reason why I haven't gone for Bukayo Saka is because I have Martinelli, and I think a triple up in Arsenal attack would be a bit too much. And once again, another spoiler here in this video. I think you can guess who my other attacker is going to be. Leon Bailey remains in this team though against Bournemouth away. He's also looking very good. Another goal during pre-season, and it now takes his tally to 3 goals and 1 assist overall, with 1 goal and 1 assist versus Man United, and they were 2-0 down, and Aston Villa made a nice comeback there. But as for Martinelli, you know, I said before that he's returned in every single preseason game. Well, guess what? He got another 2 assists against Sevilla. He even could have scored, but he unselfishly squared it to Nketiah at the very end to mark a 6-0 win against Sevilla. Arsenal looking very good. I'd still try not to get too carried away, but I have to say Martinelli is looking so good at 6 million, and I think he's a better option to start the season than Marcus Rashford. We have gone for a 4-4-2 formation yet again, and we've got the same strikers, Gabriel Jesus and Harry Kane, 2 of the most informed strikers, not only in the Premier League, but also in the world. So if we look at Gabriel Jesus, I mean, the numbers are absolutely ridiculous. 7 goals and 1 assist in 5 games during pre-season. The only game where he didn't return was when he didn't start the game at all against Orlando, and he got a hat-trick against Sevilla. He's just looking so sharp. It's not just the goals, and a lot of them are inside the box, and his reactions are also very sharp. But his overall play is looking great. He's making some great turns. He's linking up the play. And he's having a very good connection with others like Bukayo Saka. I think those 2 are the best Arsenal attackers. But you can always compensate with someone like Martinelli, who also offers really good value for money. And you can use that 8 million slot instead on someone else like Mason Mount or James Maddison, as I have done. But there's no right or wrong, I think, in terms of the way you want to go about it. I think Saka's a great option and arguably one of the very best at 8 million. But Gabriel Jesus around the same price. I mean, I still think Saka could score more in the long term, but with the form that Jesus is in, I think he has to be in my team. I'm not a big fan of his ownership, but at the same time, it does protect you in a way from the template, because it's a really strong template with the likes of Haaland and Gabriel Jesus, although Haaland isn't going to be as popular now. And I've gone for Harry Kane once again. That's the 3rd time in a row in terms of these drafts, even in a provisional one, I think earlier, maybe my first official draft, I had Harry Kane in there. And I actually like Haaland a lot still. And some people are put off him a little bit because of his big misses against Liverpool. But the fact they recorded an XG of 1.6 is actually very encouraging in my opinion. He's normally a very good finisher, and if he can get those chances against someone like Bournemouth in Game Week 2, I think Haaland can go absolutely crazy. So I'm actually very, very, set on getting Haaland at some stage of the season. But I would rather start the campaign with Harry Kane, who's proven he's got a great Game Week 1 fixture, even better than Haaland and Manchester City. And I think Kane can go absolutely ballistic against Southampton. And in terms of the captaincy, it gives me a nice headache between him and Mohamed Salah. Harry Kane has scored 5 goals in pre-season. He didn't score against Roma because Spurs didn't even score a goal, and they struggled a bit in that game. But Perisic was very impressive. He started that match. And it's unfortunate that he's not really a big certainty to start the season, because Conte came out and said that Doherty and Perisic aren't really fully 100%, but they are making some good progress. So maybe Sessegnon and maybe Emerson Royal could start in those positions, or even Jed Spence, although I think it would be Emerson Royal and also Ryan Sessegnon. But in terms of Spurs, I still think Heung-min Son and Harry Kane are the very best options. Perisic is probably a close third, but I'd be a bit concerned in terms of rotation and coming off early during the matches. Let's also briefly talk about my bench. So my goalkeeper is Gazzaniga once again, but Fulham are now very close to completing the signing of Bernd Leno. That's a fantastic signing, by the way, and he's surely going to be the number one goalkeeper. He's very underrated, a great shot stopper. So Gazzaniga, the kind of dream of a 4 million goalkeeper getting starts. Well, he's now going to be third choice behind Rodak and also Bernd Leno. So he's just there. I still think he's one of the most likely in terms of getting starts from those 4 million goalkeepers, but I wouldn't expect absolutely anything at this point. And now Nathan Patterson, I really like this pick. Yes, he's not maybe ideal, and I'd rather go for a 4-point family and defender like Botman, Ben White, or maybe Diego Dallo. But Patterson has started every single game for Everton, all 4 matches during pre-season, and they also got a clean sheet in the recent 4-0 victory. So I think Patterson is slightly better than Neco Williams. I know some people disagree about Patterson, and they think that he might be the kind of second choice and perhaps even loaned out. But I think he's going to be the first choice right back based on what we've seen in pre-season. I could be wrong about that, but it's between Patterson and Neco Williams as your best 4 million defenders. If you want, check out my videos on the best budget defenders, goalkeepers, midfielders, and forwards, which I've uploaded in the last few days. The forwards should come out shortly after this one as well. And Andres Pereira has started 3 out of 4 games in pre-season, so I like the look of him. But you've also got Josh Da Silva, Colback, who's another one who started a lot during pre-season and also in the last campaign. So you've got a few options around 4.5 million. And if you have enough money, you've got Neto at 5.5 and Bailey, who I already have in my team, at 5 million. Archer's my forward at 4.5, but you've also got Taylor, who might be a bit more likely to get minutes. But Archer has featured in 3 games out of the 5 that Aston Villa have played during pre-season. He's come off the bench in every single one of them, but he also got a goal and he's made a nice impression. And I think in terms of the kind of pecking order, he's definitely behind Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings, but he is still a good option. So watch out for Archer in the future. He's just there to sit on my bench. And this team isn't the greatest, maybe long term, but I think to start the season is very good. And maybe around Game Week 3, I can start getting off the Aston Villa double up and shaking things up a little bit. The same goes with James Maddison. Maybe I could go from Maddison to Mount. And there's definitely a few things that I could do to spice things up and maybe improve things and also go with the wave and with the fixtures. But now let's go into some alternative picks before I wrap up this video. And I appreciate you stopping by and watching this video for so long. And obviously all of your support is massively appreciated. And there's going to be much more content throughout the season, especially when I'm back from holiday. In order to improve my squad depth, I could get Alisson instead of Ramsdale and also Reece James in for Robertson. And that allows me to go from Patterson to Ben White. And one thing that I would recommend if you have 2 4.5 million defensive slots is going for an Arsenal defender like Ben White and also Sven Botman, because they rotate so well. So in Game Weeks 3 and 5, when Newcastle have very difficult fixtures against Liverpool and Man City, you can cover all bases with an Arsenal defender as they can have some fantastic games. I think Aston Villa in Game Week 5 and in Game Week 3, it's even better. So that's something worth considering. And I think if I were to go for that route and maybe not go for Matty Cash, I would go for White and also Sven Botman. So I'm just also going to kind of briefly list the alternatives in each position who could still feature in my final team on Friday ahead of the Game Week 1 deadline. So in the goalkeeper position, it's Alisson, Edison, also Edouard Mendy. You've got Jose Sarr, who's very underrated, Raya, and Robert Sanchez. I think those are the kind of most likely goalkeepers to feature. I still like Martinez and also Nick Pope, but I would rather cover Aston Villa defensively with Matty Cash, at least for the first 3 game weeks, because I don't like those fixtures from Game Weeks 4 to 7. So I think it's a bit easier to move off Aston Villa defense if you have someone like Matty Cash there. And in terms of the defenders, Reece James. But one thing worth noting with these Chelsea fullbacks, Chelsea are looking to hijack that Marc Cucurella deal, and I think Brighton no longer want to negotiate with Man City and vice versa. And if Chelsea get Cucurella, that's not good news for Ben Chilwell at all, and that's obviously very obvious. But another thing is that Chelsea are looking to sign Denzel Dumfries, and if that ends up happening, then Reece James could be shifted to a right centre-back, and we saw that plenty last season, and right wing-back is such a demanding role physically. And in order to prevent Reece James from getting injured so often, he might play as the right centre-back more often than not, especially if they sign the Dutchman. So watch out for that one. In terms of other defenders I'm considering, Reece James is still there, Ben White, Botman, Dallo, Trippier, Zinchenko, and Perisic, who did start against Roma, but in all the other games, it was Sessegnon, and Perisic still isn't 100%, and that really puts me off. And I think I would go for someone else because I'm not too sure if he starts in Game Week 1 against Southampton. Despite his quality, he got a lot of shots against Roma and he looked very, very dangerous in such great positions, so high up the pitch. But I would still be put off that. And I think Harry Kane is still decent Spurs coverage, to be fair. In terms of the midfielders, Heung-min Son is still one of the very best options. And I think apart from Salah, I don't think many other players are going to outscore Heung-min Son this season. You've also got Mason Mount, who, once again, like I said, is for me in the top 3 8 million midfielders alongside Saka and Maddison. And of course, Saka is someone I just mentioned there. Rashford and Neto. Those are the others that are quite likely to feature in my final team, but they just don't quite make the cut just yet. And in the forward positions, Haaland, I still like him a lot, but I think Harry Kane takes the cake. And you've also got a few other forwards like Callum Wilson, who I really like. Bamford's looking quite sharp in preseason. He scored a few goals. And Darwin Núñez is looking very good, but I still would rather go for Alisson, Robertson, Trent and Salah. But Núñez is very high up there, even over the likes of Jota, who's still injured, but he's also back in training. And then you've also got Diaz. Let me know your thoughts on my team down in the comment section below, even if you don't like it so much. I appreciate any constructive criticism and thank you for all of your support, the messages on every single social media platform, the comments, all the interaction. It's all very much appreciated. The new channel members, Patreons, all of that. Thank you very, very much. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe for new. Let's get this video to over 200 likes and let's also get closer to 15,000 subscribers, the next big goal that we have. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and you can also become a patron or a channel member. The links are in the description below. The same goes for the FPL League, as well as the Discord server. I wish you all the very best of luck for the start of the season. I hope you have a great campaign overall and keep on enjoying the summer break. I hope you have a great time with your family and friends, and I'll see you next time.